So this is gonna probably be my last video. I'm gonna go turn myself in.
After Big U turned himself in, things unraveled quickly. He wasn't just facing a charge or two. He got hit with a laundry list: murder, extortion, fraud, even human trafficking. Now, word on the street is that Big U is starting to break. Insiders say he's been getting into fights behind bars.
They didn't jump Big U, but best believe Big U was also involved.
Big U was in the fight too? Yo, sis.
There's a storm brewing around Big U. And if you think the drama ends with jailhouse fights, just wait until you hear what really went down in court. Let's break it all down. In March 2025, federal authorities came down hard on Big U and his inner circle, slapping them with a massive 43-count federal indictment. The charges? Racketeering, murder, extortion, fraud, embezzlement, and tax evasion. Serious heat. According to the feds, Big U wasn't just involved. They claim he was running a full-blown criminal empire, something they're calling the Big U enterprise, comparing it to a modern-day mafia operation. When Big U showed up in court on March 20th, the scene was intense. He was cuffed and shackled, dressed in a plain white t-shirt, black sweatpants, and Nike sneakers with no laces. Standard issue for inmates. But the weight of the moment was anything but ordinary. Before turning himself in, Big U posted a series of videos online, sharing his version of events. In one of those clips, he stated,
So this is gonna probably be my last video. I'm gonna go turn myself in and see what's going on. We're talking about I'm a fugitive.
Big U appeared visibly frustrated, using his words to defend himself against what he believes are unfair accusations. In the same video, he also claimed,
If you have something against a black man, you should handle it with a black man in the streets. You're gonna take my contracts. He working with the FBI.
This statement is especially intriguing because it reveals a deeper layer to the story. The long-standing feud between Big U and another influential industry figure, Wack 100. This ongoing beef could be a key factor in understanding the charges. Currently facing Big U's legal team, led by attorney John Targowski, has remained resolute, emphasizing that Henley is prepared to mount a strong defense and maintains his innocence. At the same time, Big U himself has publicly denied the allegations, calling them attempts to damage his reputation. To truly grasp the situation, it's important to look beyond the charges and understand who Big U really is. This isn't just some random figure. Big U is a significant player both on the streets and within the music industry. Eugene Big U Henley, a former member of the Rollin' 60s Crips gang in Los Angeles, first gained prominence in the 1970s and 1980s. His life even partly inspired characters in the iconic film Boys and the Hood, a testament to his notable street reputation. After serving 23 years in prison for a cocaine robbery, Big U was released around 2004 and appeared to turn a new leaf. He shifted his focus toward community work by founding the nonprofit organization Developing Options, and also ventured into the music business, managing rappers like Erupted and Nipsey Hussle. This career pivot elevated his public profile and earned him respect in hip-hop circles. In interviews, Big U has been open about his journey and past experiences. When asked about his encounters with law enforcement earlier in life, he shared candid insights into that chapter of his story.
What say this stuff, but he didn't have a lot of fight representing the hood. I was a squabble in the hood. I squabbled everybody.
This quote highlights Big U's awareness of how the criminal justice system has changed over time. However, it doesn't imply that he's still involved in any criminal activity. In fact, he has been outspoken about his efforts to reduce gang violence, especially to protect the younger generation. As a father of 5, Big U has openly shared that his drive to curb gang violence stems from wanting to shield his sons, who were at an age vulnerable to gang recruitment. This personal motivation fuels his community activism, which makes the charges against him even more complicated and controversial. Let's be honest, Big U's reputation on the streets is well earned. He's known for his toughness and ability to command respect. In one interview, when asked about the top fighters from the Rollin' 60s, he confidently named himself among them.
Because with me, you weren't gonna knock me out. You would have to sleep me. I mean, like, if I'm going to a spot, to me, it was different.
These statements offer insight into Big U's mindset and background, but they don't suggest he's the type to lose control and attack people in a courtroom. In fact, As someone familiar with the legal system, he would likely understand the serious consequences of such behavior. The charges against Big U are undeniably serious. They include allegations connected to a 2021 murder of an aspiring rap artist, orchestrating a robbery at an unlicensed marijuana dispensary in Los Angeles, and defrauding companies, donors, and athletes like Draymond Green and Shaquille O'Neal, as well as the GRID program, out of $235 million over 5 years. These are weighty accusations that, if proven, could lead to significant prison time. However, it's crucial to remember that these remain allegations at this stage. The legal process is ongoing, with Big U's trial initially scheduled for May 20th, 2025. Until then, he is presumed innocent under the law, no matter how serious the charges may appear. What makes this case particularly compelling is the duality of Big U's public image. On one hand, he is seen as a reformed gang member, dedicated to community work and building success in the music industry. On the other hand, these charges suggest he may have continued criminal activities while maintaining a facade of legitimate business and community leadership. This contrast has led to divided opinions. Some view him as a hero, while others see him as a criminal. In his own words, Big U has expressed frustration, claiming he's being unfairly targeted. He stated,
I ain't been nothing but a help to our community. But I guess it is what it is. This the price of being black and trying to help somebody, trying to help your community and do what you can. You're just guilty because somebody else don't like you and then go on the internet and do what they want to, and y'all gonna promote it.
This statement reflects Big U's belief that he's being unfairly targeted, possibly because of his past and his race, rather than for any actual criminal activity. Throughout his court appearances, Big U has remained composed, consistently pleading, not guilty to the charges against him. But the real story lies not just in the charges themselves, but in the complex history and conflicts behind them. To truly understand what's happening with Big U's case, we need to dig deeper into his background and the tangled web of relationships that may have led to these allegations. One of the most significant conflicts fueling this situation is Big U's ongoing feud with Wack 100. This isn't just a simple disagreement. It's a full-blown war between two of hip-hop's most connected and influential figures. Understanding their beef is key to making sense of Big U's current legal battles, especially since he directly accuses Wack 100 of playing a role in his arrest. The rivalry between Big U, real name Eugene Henley, and Wack 100, whose real name is Gerald Alexander, is complicated. It spans years and involves both personal and professional disputes. What makes it even more intriguing is that these two men were once close friends. Their relationship goes back to around 2000, with roots tracing to Death Row Records. Back then, they were tight, sharing deep personal bonds and even family connections, with their kids knowing each other. This close friendship laid the groundwork for their early collaborations in music and the streets. But as often happens in this industry, their relationship eventually soured. The first major crack appeared in 2017 during a conflict involving 6 Ajax 9 in the game, who was managed by Wack 100. An altercation at Big U's shop involving Trippie Redd's security, Mitchell, escalated tensions. Wack 100's failure to back Big U in that situation marked the beginning of their drifting apart. Another flashpoint came from a seemingly small studio dispute. Wack 100 had paid $150 for a room, and when Big U asked if it could be shared with others, Wack 100 took it as a sign of disrespect. That incident is widely seen as the official end of their close friendship, highlighting how minor business issues can carry major weight in their world. Financial disputes also played a role. Wack 100 accused Big U and Suge Knight of trying to steal his E1 contracts in 2015, a claim Big U denies, saying such a move would be impossible without evidence like recordings or texts. This private tension simmered for about 15 months before it spilled into the public eye. The feud blew up in July 2022 when Hassan Campbell released audio of Wack 100 calling Big U the biggest snake, and alleging that Big U tried to extort 30% from Nipsey Hussle's estate. This shocked many, as most believed they were still friends, revealing how deep their fallout had become. That same day, the conflict escalated from words to alleged violence. There were claims that Tiny Do punched Wack 100 3 times at a concert at the Novo. Wack denied this, and no footage ever surfaced, but the incident sparked heated debate and was seen as a declaration of war, further fueling their public feud. After these events, Whack 100 appeared to take deliberate steps to undermine Big U's reputation. He accused Big U of having a secret contract with the LAPD's 77th Street Division in 2015, using a BlackBerry to report gang activity, essentially labeling him a snitch, one of the most damaging accusations in street culture. Whack 100 also worked to turn Big U's own associates against him, flipping several people close to Big U, including 600 and Loose Cannon. Notably, 600 publicly spoke out against Big U on YouTube, while Loose Cannon implicated Big U in Nipsey Hussle's death during a no-jumper interview, further damaging Big U's credibility in both the streets and the music industry. As this beef continued to burn, the stakes kept rising. By early 2025, the conflict reached a critical point. Big U was indicted on RICO charges, accused of running a mafia-like operation linked to the Rollin 60s neighborhood Crips. He turned himself in after the arrests of Brick Baby, Loose Cannon, and others in Los Angeles. In response, Big U elaborated on his accusations, stating,
I just want to say this to y'all. When they raided my houses and my property, it was asking about Whack. Whack, Loose Cannon, 600, and this internet stuff. All of y'all fired. All y'all who be sending on the internet.
Big U also alleged that the FBI was deliberately trying to disrupt his community projects and damage his financial well-being.
He working with the FBI. The FBI went to the city 3 days in a row and told the city they didn't want nobody to give me no more money. They went to all the different celebrities and told all the different celebrities, don't give me no money, don't help me.
These are extremely serious accusations within street culture, essentially claiming that Whack 100 is a snitch who cooperated with law enforcement to take down Big U. If these allegations are believed on the streets, they could seriously damage Whack 100's reputation and even put him in danger. Big U also implied that the true reason behind his legal issues was to remove him from power and replace him with someone more compliant to certain interests.
So remove me to get me out the way for somebody else to come in who gonna cooperate. That's what the play is. That's what the whole play is.
Naturally, Whack 100 didn't take these accusations lightly. He outright denied any involvement in Big U's arrest and openly challenged Big U to settle their differences, whether in the streets or through the music business. His response included public statements on Clubhouse, where he even instructed others to fire on Big U if they saw him, showing just how intense and volatile this beef has become. The conflict has escalated beyond just the two of them, drawing in other figures from the industry. For example, DJ Academics got involved after clashing with Whack 100 over Big U's RICO case in April 2025. This illustrates how the dispute has created ripple effects across the hip-hop community, with various people taking sides or getting caught in the crossfire. To fully understand this beef, we need to look at the backgrounds of both men and how they rose to power. Big U's journey through the Rollin 60s Crips and his eventual transition into the music industry and community activism has been covered extensively. On the other hand, Whack 100 built his reputation as a music manager and influential industry figure, working with artists like The Game and Blueface. Both started from street backgrounds before moving into music, which places them uniquely between these two worlds. This duality often leads to complicated dynamics and conflicts, where street politics clash with business practices. Their ongoing feud embodies this tension, fueled by accusations of betrayal, disrespect, and even alleged cooperation with law enforcement. It's important to note that while Big U directly accuses Whack 100 of playing a role in his arrest, there's no independent evidence to support these claims. The federal charges against Big U come from a lengthy law enforcement investigation, and whether Whack 100 provided information remains unproven. Still, the accusation has added a highly explosive layer to their conflict. Big U's legal troubles are especially complicated because of his dual role as both a community leader and an alleged gang figure. He founded the nonprofit Developing Options, which received $235 million from the Gang Reduction and Youth Development GRID program between 2018 and 2023. Part of the charges against him involve allegations that he defrauded this program, creating a stark contrast between his public image as a community advocate and the criminal accusations he now faces. Speaking about his transition from gang member to community activist, Big U has often shared how difficult it has been to change public perceptions, especially when it comes to his own children.
These dudes tagging him. What kind of this? But y'all gonna be rolling with these dudes. And I got this last thing to say. Wack said he was gonna destroy developing option, right? So who gonna replace developing option? Which one of you in the 60s gonna call yourself coming in? Because whoever try to come in, y'all the ones that's working with Wack. Believe that.
This quote offers insight into Big U's mindset as he transitions from a life on the streets to becoming a father and community leader. He expresses a strong desire to break the cycle of violence and incarceration for the sake of his children. This makes the current charges against him especially significant, as they threaten to unravel the new life and identity he says he has built. The feud between Big U and Wack 100 goes beyond a personal dispute. It represents a clash at the crossroads of street politics, the music industry, business interests, and community leadership. Now, with Big U facing serious legal charges and directly accusing Wack 100 of involvement, the stakes have never been higher. As the legal proceedings against Big U move forward, the truth about his activities will come to light. Whether he has genuinely reformed or if his community work has been a cover for ongoing criminal operations. Regardless of the outcome, this conflict with Wack 100 has already had major consequences for both men and the wider hip-hop community. Let's now take a closer look at the specific charges against Big U and what they could mean for his future and legacy. The charges tied to the GRID program are particularly damaging to Big U's reputation as a community leader. According to the Los Angeles Times, Henley, Big U, received grants from government agencies intended for his charity, but those funds were allegedly diverted to criminal activities. If these allegations are proven true, it would not only be a criminal offense, but also a deep betrayal of the communities he claimed to support, potentially shaking public trust in legitimate community organizations working in similar areas. Beyond the legal consequences, Big U's case highlights the immense challenges faced by individuals trying to leave the streets behind and build legitimate businesses and community projects. His story, no matter how this case unfolds, reflects the difficulty of escaping one's past and the skepticism that law enforcement and the public often have towards such efforts. Adding complexity to the case is the involvement of Big U's former associates. According to his own statements, individuals like 600 and Loose Cannon, once his allies, have now turned against him and may be cooperating with authorities. If true, this fractured web of relationships could provide prosecutors with insider testimony, strengthening their case. But it's not only former associates who might be involved. Big U has specifically accused Wack 100 of collaborating with the FBI to orchestrate his arrest. In a video recorded before his arrest, he claimed, beyond the personal conflict with Wack 100, Big U's case has far-reaching implications for the hip-hop industry and community organizations operating in urban areas. His arrest and the allegations against him have caught the attention of many stakeholders, including Adam 22, who clarified that No Jumper is not involved despite connections to Brick Baby and Loose Cannon named in the indictment. This shows how the fallout from such cases can impact not only those directly involved, but also the wider networks, businesses, and organizations linked to them. The charges against Big U also raise important questions about oversight and accountability for community programs that receive government funding. If the allegations that he defrauded the GRID program out of $2.35 million prove true, this could trigger increased scrutiny of similar initiatives, potentially making it harder for legitimate community efforts to gain support in the future. For Big U personally, the stakes couldn't be higher. If convicted on all counts, he could face hundreds of years in prison, effectively a life sentence given his age. This would mark a dramatic fall for someone who appeared to have turned his life around after a previous prison term, building a reputation as both a music industry power player and a community leader. It's important to remember that despite the serious charges, Big U is presumed innocent under the law. His legal team has stated he looks forward to mounting a vigorous defense and maintains his innocence, suggesting they believe they can challenge the prosecution's case effectively. Ultimately, the outcome will depend on the evidence presented at trial and the jury's judgment. Culturally, Big U's case is especially intriguing. He represents a familiar archetype in hip-hop, the former gang member who turns street credibility into industry success and community influence. Many figures in the genre have followed similar paths, though not all face allegations of continuing criminal activity while publicly presenting themselves as reformed. Big U's arrest also impacts the Rolling 60s neighborhood Crips, one of Los Angeles' most notorious gangs. As a leader in that organization, his removal could create a power vacuum or shift dynamics within the group, raising concerns about potential instability or conflict as others vie for control. Adding another layer to this case is the involvement of high-profile figures like Draymond Green and Shaquille O'Neal, who are named as alleged victims of fraud. Their connections highlight Big U's influence across different circles, from the streets to professional sports and entertainment. While these relationships may have helped him build legitimate businesses and community programs, the charges suggest they might also have been exploited for fraudulent purposes. The case is still in its early stages, with Big U's trial initially set for May 20th, 2025. As proceedings continue, more details may surface about the evidence, the possible role of WAC 100 or others in the arrest, and the wider implications for hip-hop and community organizations in Los Angeles. For anyone interested in the complex intersection of hip-hop, street culture, and the legal system, Big U's story is a compelling case study. It touches on themes of redemption and reform, the challenge of moving from illegal to legal ventures, the use of RICO laws against alleged gang activity, and the complicated nature of personal conflicts in an industry where street credibility and business success often overlap. As this story unfolds, it will no doubt offer deeper insight into these issues and could reshape how we view Big U's legacy. Whether he comes through these legal battles with his reputation intact or faces serious consequences, his case remains a significant chapter in the ongoing narrative of hip-hop's relationship with the streets, the industry, and the law. What do you think about Big U's arrest? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to click the cards on screen for more deep dives.